This is Top 30. 30 stories in 30 minutes. Less than 2 weeks after the iPhone X was released, a team of hackers say they've defeated its facial recognition. A security firm in Vietnam called Repeal say they've unlocked an iPhone X using a mask. It consisted of a 3D printed frame covered with tape, printed photographs, and a handmade silicone nose. The company says the digital scan of the phone's owner took about 5 minutes, and the whole mask cost just $150. Apple has previously claimed that only a live human face can open a phone running Face ID. But experts point out it's possible the phone was set up to recognize the mask as the registered owner of the phone. And no other security experts have verified their claims either. So all you need to unlock someone's brand new iPhone X is a digital scan of the owner's face, a 3D printer, and a silicone nose. Good luck.
These are your quick hits. Kevin Neal left 5 dead and at least 10 others wounded before police killed him after he opened fire in a small Northern California town on Tuesday. A dispute with neighbors is believed to have sparked the gunman's terror. During his shooting spree, he charged the local elementary school and shot his rifle through windows and walls. Cops praised staff at the school for quickly locking down as soon as they heard gunfire. People magazine named Blake Shelton as their sexiest man alive. "Y'all must be running out of people," he joked about his new title. Arthur Brown spent 29 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. He was finally freed on Tuesday.
I knew this day would come and the truth would come out.
Brown said Chicago police forced him into a false confession of arson and murder. Now he plans to spend time with family and celebrate all the moments he's missed. A Dallas prosecutor has been fired after berating an Uber driver, and the exchange was recorded. The Uber driver picked up Judy Warner from a bar on Friday night and says she became increasingly angry when he asked for directions, even though she told him not to follow the GPS. He says she belittled and threatened him, so he eventually ended the Uber ride and asked her to get out of the car.
I want to go home so badly, but you're so stupid. I want the cops to come so that they can you up. That's what I want. Like, you're such an idiot. I want the cops to come.
Ma'am, please.
No, ma'am, please. Dude, everything's being recorded. I'm an assistant district attorney, so shut the up.
The driver says police came and took Warner away. The district attorney fired Warner and released a statement saying her behavior was contrary to the office's core principle of integrity and will not be tolerated. Warner held a tearful news conference explaining her actions. She said she was concerned when the driver started taking a route she did not know and was put in an uncomfortable situation. She also admitted that she had drank a bit too much and apologized for her language. The driver chose not to press charges.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend of mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I am hearing big things about Amazon's new store.
That's right, Richard. Your easy in-person Amazon shopping experience is almost here. Amazon Go is ramping up, a store where you can walk in, scan your phone, pick what you like, and walk right out. No cashiers, no lines, no wasted time. The cameras, shelf sensors, and technology to distinguish look-alike people and a crowded store are close to perfection. Buying clothes for work may soon be a thing of the past. Rent the Runway is looking to cater to women for more than just one occasion rental. The company doubling down on subscriptions for the whole work week. It also has launched its first national ad campaign and plans on opening more shipping centers and physical stores. Well, you love TV, but not that big on sports? Then listen up. A new streaming service is offering a new skinny bundle with almost 3 dozen entertainment-oriented cable channels for just $16 a month.
Nicole, who doesn't love more channels? Tell me, what else do you know?
Well, Richard, there are 5 companies offering programming for channels including Comedy Central, TLC, Food Network, and AMC. And for an extra $4, users can add 9 more channels. More Top 30 when we return.
Senate Republicans working on an overhaul of the American tax code have added a repeal of the individual insurance mandate. The mandate is part of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. The Congressional Budget Office said last week that repealing the mandate would reduce the deficit by about $338 billion in the next decade. The office also said that in those same 10 years, it would leave an additional 13 million Americans without health coverage. Americans still covered by health insurance could see premiums rise by about 10%. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon said Republicans are choosing to pay for corporate tax cuts by raising premiums for middle-class families and ripping away healthcare altogether from millions. Republicans who voted against previous efforts at healthcare repeal haven't said where they stand on the new tax bill.
First, Ibtihaj Muhammad made her mark by being the first woman to ever compete in the Olympics while wearing a hijab, the headscarf some Muslim women wear in public. Well, now Ibtihaj is making waves by having a Barbie made in her image, complete with a hijab, a first for the brand in its 58-year history. Mattel revealed the one-of-a-kind doll at Glamour's Women of the Year Live Summit. The miniature version of Ibtihaj is the latest member of the Shero line of dolls, a tribute to great female heroes. Ibtihaj joins an exclusive club of women who also have a Shero doll, including Zendaya, Gabby Douglas, Emmy Rossum, Misty Copeland, and Ava DuVernay, proving once again we girls can do anything.
A revolutionary brain implant could improve your memory. A team of researchers at the University of Southern California have developed a memory prosthesis. Electrodes are implanted in the brain. They imitate the way humans process memories by delivering small shocks to the hippocampus, a region of the brain vital to learning. 20 people who were receiving different brain implants for epilepsy volunteered in the study. They took simple memory tests where they were asked to remember shapes. Then they took the tests with researchers activating the implants. The test subject's memory improved by up to 30%. One of the study's authors told New Scientist, "This has never been done before." Although if you asked me to look at shapes whilst delivering small shocks to my brain, I reckon I'd remember the experience. But to be fair, the team does think that their work could help develop new treatments for memory disorders.
There's concern over the $200 billion auto loan market as the rate of delinquencies has doubled since 2011. It's the subprime auto loans, those typically approved for people with less than ideal credit scores or a short credit history that aren't getting paid. The New York Federal Reserve says there are over 23 million consumers who hold subprime auto loans. These consumers may find their credit reports further damaged after a default or encounter further financial difficulties after experiencing a car repossession. 90-plus day delinquency rates for subprime loans from auto finance companies are close to 10%, a sharp rise in the last few years. So by taking on high-risk clients, these auto loan companies are affecting consumers by further destroying their credit.
There is a burn book roaming around Capitol Hill, but this one could ruin the careers of sexist politicians who prey on female lawmakers, staffers, and interns. The creep list, as it's been dubbed, is a word-of-mouth informal record of male members of the Hill with a history of exhibiting inappropriate behavior towards women. These behaviors range from sexually charged comments and gestures to pursuing physical relationships with subordinates. CNN interviewed over 50 lawmakers, political veterans, and former and current Hill aides about the sexist climate in American politics that one political veteran referred to as a sex trade on Capitol Hill. Recently, enough reports have surfaced. The Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, has ordered mandatory anti-sexual harassment training for the entire House of Representatives. And this new information comes on the heels, as you'll know, of a high-level exposure of male harassers in Hollywood and American politics. Scientists found a rare prehistoric shark that has the head of a snake and 300 sharp teeth. It is called a frilled shark, and researchers say the creature has been unchanged for 80 million years. The researchers were off the coast of Portugal and discovered the shark about a half-mile underwater. These sharks can grow up to 6 feet long and use the 25 rows of razor-sharp teeth to catch its prey, which includes other sharks and squid. Not much is known about it because its habitat is so deep in the sea, and it lives off the coast of Japan, New Zealand, and Australia. The body of a shark and the head of a snake. Just give it the legs of a tarantula, and it would be the singular creature from all of our worst nightmares.
It's time for this week's Page 6 Fix with senior reporter Carlos Greer. Hey, Carlos, what's going on?
Well, Kristen, first up, we've got big casting news for you. One of our favorite friends is returning to the small screen. Jennifer Aniston is reuniting with her on-screen sister Reese Witherspoon in a brand new show for Apple. Both actresses will also act as executive producers on the new drama, which will focus on the inner workings of a network morning show. But that isn't the only reunion that happened. That's right, Martha Stewart has finally been reunited with her favorite pie dish. The domestic diva had noted that her pie dish was missing after she brought an apple pie to a shoot with Real Housewives of New York star Tom D'Agostino Jr. A source told us that the ex of Luann de Lesseps said they had tried to return it and sniffed that it was just a cheap Pyrex number anyway. And finally, one person you won't be calling cheap is Drake. He's been eyeing a first edition of the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for his birthday, currently on sale for the low cost of $160,000. And that's this week's Page 6 Fix. See you next time.
Thanks, Carlos. For more news and gossip, watch Page 6 TV weekdays. Check your local listings. In today's hometown stories from Fox 13 Tampa Bay, the Suncoast Animal League rescued more than 100 dogs and cats from Puerto Rico, and the community has stepped up big time to find these animals forever homes. A local philanthropist chartered a cargo plane to transport the animals to the Tampa area. A business donated warehouse space to house them, and veterinarians treated them for free. Dr. Nanette Parra, a Puerto Rico native, is one of the vets donating her time to care for the animals. She spayed, neutered, and performed surgeries. Thanks to this community rallying together, these animals all have a second chance at life. Another animal making a miraculous recovery is this orphaned mountain lion. Fox 10 Phoenix explained the adorable cub was first spotted in the rural town of Cornville. When residents noticed the frail and dehydrated cub, they called the Arizona Game and Fish Department, who then rescued and treated it. Game and Fish officials said the cub couldn't be released back into the wild because it was abandoned so early in life. But they are looking for a sanctuary or a zoo to house the now thriving cub. In our final story from Fox 46 Charlotte, 3 local veterans were awarded service dogs to help them cope with their PTSD. Peter Brewer, a Marine Corps vet, founded the One Warrior One organization to pair vets with service dogs. He said he contemplated suicide when he returned from service, but his dog Anka gave him a reason to live. Now he's helping other vets get that same feeling of companionship that helped save his life.
The world's first floating nation could pop up off the coast of Tahiti by 2020. The non-profit Seasteading Institute calls it the Floating Island Project and says they hope to liberate humanity from politicians with their community of homes, hotels, and restaurants. Bankrolled by PayPal founder Peter Thiel, the science fiction sounding idea is actually beginning to take shape and construction is set to begin shortly. Seasteading's president says, if you can have a floating city, it would essentially be a startup country. We can create a huge diversity of governments for a huge diversity of people. So they're going to liberate humanity from politicians by creating more governments. Good luck with that.
16-year-old Macy Brittenbach from Bel Air, Maryland, was born with visceral myopathy, a rare disease that leaves her without a working gastrointestinal system. She spends 18 hours a day hooked up to an IV to be fed nutrients, and most days it's too painful to even leave the house. But Macy wouldn't let her condition stop her from achieving her dream, to compete in the Miss Teen Maryland beauty pageant. She got all dolled up and strutted across the stage like a pro. Macy said, no matter how you feel about yourself, you are beautiful. And I just want to show everybody that. At the end of the competition, Macy won the Spirit Award, and the entire audience burst into a standing ovation. Macy's strength and courage was better than a crown anyway. The Army is widening its pool of candidates by now allowing people who have a history of self-mutilation, bipolar disorder, and depression. That's according to a report in USA Today, which found the unannounced policy went into effect in August. But memos and documents obtained by USA Today show the candidate must submit appropriate documentation to obtain a waiver, which includes a detailed statement, medical records, and a psychiatric evaluation. Critics say the move can be risky because people with mental health issues are more likely to have those issues resurface compared to those without such history. The relaxed waiver rules come as the Army tries to recruit 80,000 new soldiers by September of next year.
Barcelona-based sunglass manufacturer C2C is a step ahead of other brands because it sources material for its designer frames from plastic waste in our oceans. According to Refinery29, each pair of sunglasses is sourced from 22 pounds of discarded ocean plastic, and with about 8 million tons of plastic littered in the ocean each year, quite a lot of sunglasses can be made this way. C2C hires local fishermen to collect abandoned plastic products that typically get stuck in fishing nets. Those plastic products are divided into what can be used to make designer frames, and everything else is sold to recycling factories. C2C's website says the brand aims to create a global consciousness in regards to the issue of sea contamination through a stylish product that anyone can wear with pride. The sunglasses brand carries a variety of popular designs, including aviators and wayfarers, ramming home a really important ecological message. If you deposit plastic in the oceans, there is an outside chance that you'll end up with a really nice pair of aviators. Some immigrants applying for deferred deportation have been denied because their paperwork arrived late, but they say it isn't their fault. The New York Times reported that at least 41 people in the city mailed applications weeks before the deadline to renew their status in the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA. DACA lets young immigrants stay and work in the US legally. All of those applications were rejected for arriving too late. Some, following their paperwork via certified mail, said their packages disappeared from tracking websites for days or even weeks before arriving after the October the 5th deadline. A spokesman for the US Postal Service said the post office experienced an unintentional temporary mail processing delay in the Chicago area. But the US Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency said their decisions were final. Congressman Luis Gutierrez of Illinois said, because somebody else did not do their job correctly, we are taking innocent young immigrants and making them deportable. That is unacceptable. The move has also been criticized by many immigration lawyers, but because DACA was formed under an executive order by former President Barack Obama and not a statute, applicants can't appeal the decision. In all, about 4,000 applications arrived late.
The FDA has approved the first digital pill that will track whether patients have taken their medication. Developed by the Japanese pharmaceutical company Otsuka and digital medicine service Proteus Digital Health, the pill is called Abilify MySight. The pill is fitted with a tiny ingestible sensor about the size of a grain of sand, allowing it to communicate with a patch worn by the patient. The medicine data is then transmitted to an app, and the information is available to their doctor and any other authorized users. This is a means to monitor patients who maybe aren't taking their meds when they should be or are abusing it. The patch also records sleeping patterns, steps taken, heart rate, and other activity, and has to be replaced every 7 days. No price has been released for the pill yet, but it's a big step forward in digitized healthcare.
Hate crimes continue to rise for the second year in a row. New data released by the FBI revealed that attacks based on bias against blacks, Jews, Muslims, the LGBTQ community, and others increased by nearly 5% last year. In 2015, there were 5,800 reports of hate crimes. By 2016, that number jumped to 6,100. According to the report, 58% of the incidents last year were racially motivated. 1 in 5 victims were targeted due to religious bias, and 1 in 6 were victimized because of sexual orientation. Authorities warn these lists are incomplete because not all jurisdictions report their hate crimes. In fact, 88% of the agencies submitted no hate crime reports to the statistics program.
Stories of harassment and misconduct have taken over the news. It's almost as if a dark cloud is hanging over Hollywood, which is what prompted Twitter user Bakun to ask for nice celebrity allegations. The tweet has since earned over 58,000 likes, with users sharing stories that will restore your faith that good still exists in the world. Stories like Chris Martin visiting fans at children's hospitals wherever he tours, or Kate Winslet consoling a crying stranger at the airport who was heartbroken after a visit with her boyfriend. Another story had a girl crying at the mall after a fight with her sister when Tyra Banks appeared and comforted her. And finally, the late Carrie Fisher, who responded to a fan asking for help during a hard time. The responses, some serious and others funny, remind us that not all celebrity news these days is bad.
That is it for today's Top 30. Here are some stories coming up that are worth knowing about. American hospitals are facing a dangerous shortage of one of their most basic supplies, and it could be getting worse. Scientists have captured new images of one of the largest icebergs ever to split from Antarctica. And we told you the amazing story of Chi-Chi, the dog who cheated death. Now she's helping others. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.